This return is my return to the world.
No, 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 no.
Hello, spooky people, and welcome to whatever I've decided to call this segment of the channel. Basically, this is just an impromptu video that was triggered by the announcement of, the Konami announcement last night about the different Silent Hill projects going on. So a little bit of backstory. The Silent Hill franchise has been wildly influential on me as a creator in all aspects of the things that I do. It's been an integral part of my life since the very first one came out. And it's influenced me no end. So, as many of you know, some of you don't, I'm not the biggest fan of the ones after The Room. I don't think it should have been handed over to Western developers, just in general, because as you can see, we kind of don't get it. I'm not really going to talk about the game announcements because, well, there's only really two of those that are of any real interest, and those are seemingly original stories from what we can gather so far. Of course, Silent Hill 2 is getting a remake, something I'm not really surprised about, not only because of the sort of rumblings and the leaks that have been going on over the last few months, but largely because of, obviously, the success of Capcom's Resident Evil remakes of 2 and 3, and the fact that they made all of the money despite having quite large sections of their core content cut. So everybody always goes on about Resident Evil 3 remake as having quite a lot cut, which I'm not going to argue with because it's true. But Resident Evil 2, which people seem to gloss over, did have quite a large portion, in fact about half of it, cut from the content in terms of the A and B campaigns actually overlapping. There seemed to be none of that. It's not surprising that Konami would want to jump on the remake bandwagon, especially with arguably one of their most successful and popular entries in the Silent Hill franchise. It just makes good business sense, I suppose, but that's up to them, and I'm not really happy about it. I don't think it needs remaking. All we have to do is think back to the horrific HD remaster that we got a few years ago, and I think that really puts a damper on things in terms of actually looking forward to them revisiting old stories. Plus the fact that, from what I understand, it's still a Western developer. I don't know. I need to look into that, but there we go. But anyway, this isn't about them, and it's not about the games. No, what I'm here to argue about is the announcement of the live-action film version of Silent Hill 2, which is going to be directed by Christophe Gans.
Oh, no, no.
Some of you may know that he wrote and directed the first Silent Hill film, along with the completely unnecessary live-action Beauty and the Beast remake. And he also did Brotherhood of the Wolf, which was okay. And from the announcement, it looks like it's going to be largely produced by Samuel Hadida, who also produced the first Silent Hill. He is producing the remake of The Crow, and he also produced Silent Hill Revelation, and he also produced the entirety of the W.S. Anderson Resident Evil series, which, well... So basically the reason I feel that I had to make this video was because it is such an important franchise to me. I can only talk for myself. I know there are people out there who love the film version of Silent Hill. I have seen people online saying that the first Silent Hill movie is a faithful adaptation of Silent Hill. And no, maybe if you're going from Homecoming onwards, then yes, because largely those games were based on the film's aesthetics and enemy types, but they all missed the core point of Silent Hill. Now, if you want a deep dive of the Silent Hill franchise, then I can't recommend enough the Twins Perfect YouTube channel. They have a series on there where they look at every single game, break down the story, its influences, what's good, what's bad, what works, what doesn't. They go really in depth in a lot of things. So I'll pop a link for them down in the description. When the announcement came out last night, or rather however many days ago it was, whenever this video comes out, or however long it is from release to when you're watching it now, basically I had been finding it weird that Christophe Gans was commenting on a lot of things online, saying that Konami did have several Silent Hill games in the works, as though he would be the go-to guy, having made a film that really wasn't that good and completely missed the point. It just struck me as odd that he would be the one that would be sort of leaking or announcing that information, but that's not the video that I'm going to talk about. Furthermore, on this video, I'm not going to be putting any clips, I don't think. Depends how fancy I want to be. Largely, this is just me reacting to the announcement by Christophe Gans that he's making another Silent Hill movie somehow. I don't get why he's been given the reins again, because the fan base, as I'm aware, at the time, the fan base hated it. It seems to be that the passage of time, 15 years if you can believe, has softened a lot of people's view on the film in general, just because, I don't know, just because that's what happens. As you get older, generally your view on things from your past usually softens a bit and you get a bit nostalgic about things and blah, blah, blah. Now, the issue I have largely is A, the fact it's Christophe Gans, B, that Samuel Hadida is going to be producing, and given the shite that he's produced in the past, I hold no hope whatsoever that this is going to be anywhere close to a good film. I mean, in the original film, they butchered Pyramid Head. He was there. Well, again, this is why he appears in the games later on. He's not tied to the story that was being told in the first film, according to the games canon. He is purely a creation of James's mind, or he is just there because of James. Same with the sexy nurses. They were linked intrinsically to James's state of mind and various psychosexual issues that he was having, which was a large theme of James's character's story, not necessarily the other characters. In the game, it's clear that people see Silent Hill differently. So, yeah, I mean, from that standpoint alone, two of the most famous characters within the Silent Hill game franchise only really appeared in one game originally. Obviously, we can do away with that notion post-film, when they started sticking Pyramid Head in every entry, and the sexy nurses appeared in every entry, or some variation of them. They were still, if you boil them down, they were still the same character as they were in the second film. The same look. And that's just looking at it from a creature point of view. The fact that they changed Cheryl's name to Sharon for some reason, because, I don't know, Western audiences wouldn't get it, only to then have a bit of graffiti saying Cheryl at the beginning of the film, but that's me getting far too involved and in-depth into that. But he just didn't get the character motivations or anything like that. The whole gender swap was because he viewed Harry Mason's actions and reactions in the games to fit more with a female character. And basically because he wanted to have beautiful American actresses taking the lead, because, well, just read the text on screen for that nugget of sexism.
Oh, mon Dieu!
Oh, des fous.
2006 was very much a different time. He was forced to introduce male characters, which meant a pretty boring B-plot, with Sean Bean playing Christopher. I mean, hell, if you're gonna change it, you may as well have Christopher be called Harry. There's no difference. It would have at least been a nod. Overall, the story was pretty weak, meandering. People's intentions weren't exactly clear. The law had been changed because reasons. So much was wrong with that film that I may do a video on it, but I really don't want to bring myself to watch that again because it's just disappointing. I return to it every now and again, hoping that my viewpoint has softened on it, and all I end up being is disappointed at the missed opportunity of actually having a good story that would have been interesting. But this is just me ranting and rambling about this. This series, like I said, has been massively important to me growing up, and its art style has influenced me quite heavily. And the stories of Silent Hill, my favourite is Silent Hill 2, as most people's is, but that doesn't mean that I don't see the amazing work that was in 1 and 3 and 4. 2 might have my favourite story in it, but the first one is probably actually my favourite game because that was the game that introduced me to the series, and I spent so much time playing that growing up. So much time skipped from school in order to play it. And it's massively important in terms of who I am. So to see that there's a film version coming out of Silent Hill 2 is depressing. To see that it's going to be Christophe Gans writing and directing it again is soul-crushing. I could not be less disappointed in Konami at the announcement. If they were going to go with Silent Hill 2 for a film adaptation, just don't go with Christophe Gans. He doesn't know the core story and the core franchise. He says that he's a gamer and he loves the franchise and he knows the games inside and out, but after the first film, it's clear that that is all complete bollocks.
I know you're having an important day and all, but be quiet. You don't know anything about Silent Hill.
Either he does know it and he just doesn't care, or he is just lying to assuage the fears of people who love the franchise. It's something that you see quite a lot with directors, particularly when they're doing big game franchises. They turn around and say that they love the franchise, they know everything, they play it endlessly. Look at W.S. Anderson and the Resident Evil series. When he made the first one, in endless interviews, him and Mila Jovovich were out there saying that they played the games, they loved the games, blah, blah, blah. And then you watch the films, and there's nothing of the games in them. There's characters, sure. Locations, okay. But the main part is the story isn't there. They've just completely skipped the story aspect, which is the most important part. It's the fundamental part of any of these franchises is the story. And that's the thing that they really don't care about. Now, I know that I'm kind of repeating myself from my Resident Evil 1 hour epic bitchathon, but this is going to go the same way. Well, I can see it going the same way. I can't say with 100% certainty that it's going to be a huge trash fire and be hot garbage, but the simple fact is, that's the way it's looking like it's going to go when you get someone in like Christophe Gans to write and direct it, a man who purports to know and love the franchise that he shows he doesn't either care about or doesn't actually know. So you tell me, should I be happy about this announcement? I don't think I should be. I think my reaction is perfectly sound and reasonable given the history that has been proven by that man in terms of handling the Silent Hill franchise. Both him and the producer. Now, I'm going to end it there because this has seriously, it's ridiculous. I have been enraged with this news all day and I just had to come on here and vent to the camera and anyone who watches this. Hopefully, I'm wrong, and the film is fantastic, and the remake of Silent Hill 2, the game version, will be amazing. That's what I hope, but I don't think the people behind it really respect the game franchise, the stories, or the fans enough to give us what we actually want. And I think that's the main problem when it comes to this type of thing. They don't care about it, they don't care about us, and they definitely do not respect us. If you agree with me, or if you don't, that's fine. Just comment down below your thoughts, your reaction to the news, what your general thoughts are on the whole thing. Disagreeing on things isn't so bad. It's what makes things interesting. But if you do find yourself in disagreement with this video or any of the comments that might follow, then be civil, have a discussion. That's the joy of disagreements, is that you can discuss both sides, maybe find a little bit of love for something, or maybe the other side will understand why this thing that you may not like, they might get an understanding as to why. So there we go. I'm going to end it there. Don't want to make it too long. This is just a random little video and I want to get it edited quickly and out there. Just my thoughts and initial reactions to the news that Christophe Gans is making another Silent Hill movie based on Silent Hill 2. As always, remember to stay safe, stay weird, and most importantly, stay spooky. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.